Greetings, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the Fandom Collective YouTube channel. I am trying to make a daily thing there today. It is February 15th, 2022. And yeah, trying to go live and actually have little things to talk about. Trying to make some consistency here. So, something I haven't actually talked about in a little while is Cobra Kai. And of course, everybody else has already beaten me to that quite a bit, but that's okay. So, a little rundown on me and Cobra Kai is like I saw the Karate Kid series for the first time about 2 years ago now. I'd say, yeah, it's probably about 2 years ago now. And I freaking loved the Karate Kid when I first saw it. I was like, dang, okay, this is actually pretty good. I saw it very late, but I freaking loved it. And as I was like watching that with Teresa Martin, Justin Proper, Tom Connors and everything, and like I freaking that's one of my favorite trilogies is the Karate Kid trilogy. So when Cobra Kai came around, of course, it was on YouTube Red and everything, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. They're trying to do it, and they're using the same actors as before, but I, like many people, thought it might end up being one of those bad type of movie, one of those bad type of shows that doesn't really hit as hard as you think that it could or anything. But Cobra Kai, apparently, everybody's talking about it, and it's like, oh, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. And eventually, I did end up watching season one, and then a little bit into season two. This was like at the time where they already had season three out or something. And then season four wasn't out too long after that. It was a few months later, but I stopped at the first couple episodes of season two so that I could kind of let it breathe, because I don't like to always just binge through everything. I don't like to binge. And good morning, Sherry. Thank you for joining me this morning. Hope that you're doing good. Hope you had a good Valentine's Day and Super Bowl weekend and everything. I hope that went all good. Let me know how that went for you. And yeah, if you've seen Cobra Kai, if you like Cobra Kai, I know that you probably heard a bunch of people talk about Cobra Kai by now, but I'm trying to get into it a little bit. I haven't talked about it too much on streams, just on occasion with some peers on their channels and everything. But so Cobra Kai, by the time season four came around, I did not jump on to watch it immediately. I wanted to still, I wanted to kind of savor what I have. I don't like the binge format. I like the weekly type of thing at least, or twice a month, something like that, that I can take my time and enjoy it, savor it, and it won't be gone that quickly. And especially with a whole more than 2 seasons that I had to go to until I catch up and everything, I was like, okay, I've got a long time until season five comes around. But I started watching some more of season two and finished that out and watched season three, and then I was gonna wait on season four as to get into it, but I was like, dang it. And I finished it. I binged it. I binged it all like a bad boy. And I had to do that. And I was like, okay. So I watched Cobra Kai. Freaking loved it all the way. There's a lot of things that I like about it, but I am a little bit concerned as they go forward. But like, of course, there's a lot of positives that I have about it, like with Hawk, the way that they did. Hold on, Sherry's right here. Said her weekend was bland and boring, just how I like it. Well, hey, nothing wrong with bland and boring. That's kind of how I am too with a lot of things. A lot of people like to be the more bubbly, colorful. I can settle with gray and mundane. It depends on the mood, but casual, that is the main setting right there. But yeah, so like a lot of things I like about Cobra Kai is when they do a lot of their fight scenes, it's not always this huge epic event. Sometimes it just seems like this little thing that ends up happening in throughout whatever the characters are dealing with, and then they end up fighting. Though as more people learn karate, it is kind of hilarious how many people know karate or know some type of fighting style, because it's like you'd think, oh yeah, the average person probably doesn't know karate at all, but at this school or in this town, a good percentage now knows karate a little bit. I almost wouldn't be surprised if they had like the adults at some point, like the parents, all start trying to learn karate at some point. That would be hilarious. I don't think they'd do that, but just think like all the parents of the kids are like, you know what? How about we learn some karate too, so we can, defend ourselves from these evil children. Man, I don't know. Season two kicked off cool with like the school fight that they had, and got everybody explore. No, that was the end of season one, but technically season two as well, if you want to count those two together. I'm sorry, now it's season three. God damn it, I'm getting them confused now. Now that I watched them all the way, the end of season two with them going to school and having the huge school fight, and then in season 3, like, having it start out with the division with the Miyagi-Do and the Cobra Kai and everything, and things are not going very well. Things were not going well. They had to cripple Miguel for a little while, but I kinda wish that they had a little more lasting impact of him being crippled like that for a while, which I'm sure most people would have liked that as well. They have, like, one instance of that in season 4 in the championship when he, like, pulls a muscle, and, man, there's so much that I wanna talk about in general about positives about Cobra Kai, but honestly, I kind of wanna talk about what I'm more concerned with. And as well as Cobra Kai has been done, I feel that when shows go on for too long, or any property, like you can look at Star Wars or Marvel as the main example, when they go on for too long, they start to get on a decline. They can start to go really bad, especially if they started out really strong and were going really well. The longer you drag something out, the higher chances you have to risk ruining it or muddying up what you've had before. There was some moments, especially in season 3, that was like, okay, this is just so coincidental. I think Justin Proper or somebody else I know had this kind of same complaint. Like to when he goes to Okinawa, or he goes back to where Miyagi's from and everything. He runs so many things are kind of a coincidence for him. Like, it's one thing that the girl that he liked there, that he had a crush on, was there. I mean, that's fine. She wanted to stay in town. That's cool. But the main coincidence part is, like, he's going there to save his business, and the woman that is capable of saving his business just so happens to be the little girl that he saved in the hurricane all the way back in Karate Kid 2. And it's just like he didn't really have to do anything extra to save his business. He just learned some extra karate moves from Chosen, and then he was just able to get that free and have a lot of things resolved there. And I just kind of think there should have been a lot more going on, or a little bit more challenging for him to save his company, because that wasn't an element that played too much of a factor as we went later on into the show. And then it was like, oh yeah, this whole karate thing, it's messing up the business, and all it could be lost. And I thought it would have been interesting if he had to do some type of task that challenges his, like, physical limitations once again, because that was something as a kid that I really enjoyed, that he wasn't used to doing so much physical hard work and labor, and to that extent, and that Miyagi was teaching him, and that helped build up strength and muscle memory and everything, and that was good and that was nice. But he's been like a teacher for a long time. He's been just doing this in his own life, but I don't know how much he's actually pushed his body to the limits. So as a sensei and everything, and with needing to learn new stuff, with having more challenges come to him, and he needs to teach his students more stuff, I thought it would have been more interesting if he spent a longer time on vacation or on his little trip there trying to save his business, and having to utilize a lot of different talents along the way, like having to climb a mountain or something, and learning how to endure more of the cold, and like gaining some upper arm strength along with that, and seeing how much his mental capacity can endure some intense situations. That would have been quite nice there. Oh boy. Oh, spam, nice. Strips without clothing, thank you. No thank you. Funny. Funny. Appreciate that. A little bot there trying to get little things post Valentine's Day. That's pretty funny, but that's all good. So anyway, I think that if he had to, like, climb a cold mountain, or he had to, like, go through the jungle or the forest of some kind, I'm not sure in that area what would be something specific, or if he had to, like, dive down to the bottom of a river and, like, retrieve something to help somebody out. I think that these types of elements would be a huge enhancer for his character and for part of the story. I mean, it's not to say that they won't do something like that going into season 5. I mean, I still don't think that they will. It would just be another way to challenge a character's mental capacity, and when he comes back, he'd come back even stronger, I would think. And with the next season, with Terry Silver being the main baddie behind Cobra Kai this time, and Kreese is locked up, and Johnny seems like he's going to be going to search for Miguel, and LaRusso is going to be trying his best to prepare the students to combat with people from Cobra Kai, and Chosen is going to be there to be his partner sensei, it seems. So I would still like to see the senseis going through more trials and training other than just some of the students. Now they've gone. Now, don't get me wrong, the senseis have gone through a lot of stuff in the show, But I feel like as far as learning new techniques or figuring out different mental capacities for themselves, breaking down their own barriers in ways that will help progress the story and build character. Like I don't know, there's like just going like the simple training type of techniques that you can find throughout doing things in nature in your everyday life. Something like that would be nice to see with some of the senseis around here. Now it's funny because now there's like multiple sensei characters, not just the students and everything. There's a whole bunch of different variety from all around. And I'm assuming they're gonna have Mike or whatever the guy was from Karate Kid 3. He's probably gonna come in, and he, from what I remember, I thought he was like a Marine or he was somebody, that was really strong, and I assumed it was because he was a Marine from my memory, but I could be remembering that wrong. And so if he had some military knowledge, and of course Kreese and Terry were also in the military before, but they were in the Vietnam, and I don't know what section the Mike was because he was a kid at the time, so I'm not quite sure. But I'm concerned that they're going to be dragging some characters through the mud in season 5, and I don't know if anybody else agrees with me on that, because I'm it's hard to say. Like when they had LaRusso's kid, the boy, I almost forget his name, to be honest, now as I think about it. Like he finally started to come back into some type of relevance in season 4 a little bit with the other kid, kind of being a bully to the other guy, which that was a good use of this kid. And I thought it was kind of funny that at some point they mentioned like, "Oh yeah, you're still around." And because he was like out of the picture for like a full season and a half or two, like just not even in the story at all in any way, shape, or form, which that is pretty funny, I'd say. But like, I don't know, I don't see him being that good of a character. However, they could surprise me. They really could surprise us here. But again, I just don't know. And like it's funny because season 4 ends with like so many different ways and directions they could take into the next season. I feel like it's at a point where a lot of people will have their own expectations of where the show is going to go, and it's going to start to sour with some people. But then again, it depends on how long the show is going to go for. I think that you can keep the relevancy, you can keep the interest, you can keep everybody engaged into the story and wanting to pay attention to what's going on in Cobra Kai. But I feel like I do want there to be a solid ending. I don't want it to be like a 20 season show. I don't want it to just go on forever. I want the show to have a planned type of finale in some way, shape, or form. Even if they plan to go for a total of 8 seasons or 6 seasons or 7, I don't know. That'd be fine as long as they actually have an idea for an end game, because I don't want it to be one of those shows that just falls into the, schlock category, schlock and just slop, just dragging through the mud. It'd be like a Marvel type of thing, or Star Wars, or Star Trek, or Simpsons, or Family Guy, just ones that just never seem to end. Those get so annoying, and so it would be really cool if Cobra Kai could somehow, even if they have a couple of more seasons, like have an endpoint planned and not just end because of low ratings or something like that. Like have some type of finale planned for their story here, because I don't really see that this. I don't think this should be the type of show that goes on forever. It should be kind of one that has a nice solid end date. And I don't know. I really want to know what you guys think in the comments after this video is up and everything. Let me know what you guys think about Cobra Kai, and if you think its future is safe and secured, or if you think it can go on for a long time, or if you think it should end as well. If I were to guess, I would say that ending it at season 6, like ending it at the end of season 6, should be the finale season, in my opinion. But yeah, we shall see. Season 5 probably comes out around Christmas or December or something again this year. Such a long time away. But I don't know. Those are my thoughts on Cobra Kai and why I'm a little bit worried, a little bit concerned about the future, though it's still one of the best freaking shows ever around, especially as a sequel show adapting from the trilogy from back in the day. But that's all I got to say, and have a great rest of